All right, let's get into it. Today, we're talking about building a rock-solid foundation for your content. We're going to help you ditch that random approach and build a real, sustainable strategy that actually works. So let's get building. You know the feeling, right? Staring at a blank screen, the pressure is on to post something, but you've got nothing. It's that dreaded content hamster wheel, just spinning and spinning with no clear direction. Well, in this explainer, we are hopping off that wheel for good.
And the way we do that is with a really powerful idea called content pillars. Just think of them as the main support beams of your entire content house. They're the core topics, usually just a handful of them, that you come back to again and again. It's what ensures everything you create is consistent, relevant, and totally aligned with your goals.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into what pillars really are. Then, we'll walk through a simple 3-step process to build your own. After that, we'll look at some real-world examples, and finally, we'll get you set up to start building yours.
Okay, so let's get into the architecture of this whole thing. See, content pillars aren't just random topics. They are the big, strategic themes that give your content structure and, most importantly, purpose. They're what keep you from drifting off course and make sure your audience knows exactly what they can expect from you.
And you know what? The process is surprisingly simple. It really just boils down to these 3 steps. First, you identify your core themes. Second, you associate each of those themes with specific goals and content formats. And third, you prepare a whole bunch of actual content ideas. Let's break each one down.
All right, step 1 is all about discovery. This is where we need to zoom out, way out, from that day-to-day content grind and think big picture. What are you really trying to do here? We're not looking for tiny little subtopics yet. We're hunting for the major, reoccurring themes that are going to define your entire brand.
And here it is, the magic number. You're aiming for just 3 to 5 pillars. Now you might be thinking, why so few? Well, it's all about focus. This forces you to be laser-focused. It keeps your strategy lean, manageable, and a whole lot more powerful. Go with any more than 5 and you really risk diluting your message and just confusing your audience.
And this right here is probably the most crucial part. Your pillars can't just be things you feel like talking about. No, they have to be deeply connected to your why. So it's time to ask some big questions. What's my core mission? What unique problem am I solving for my audience? And when it's all said and done, what do I want to be known for? The answers to those questions, those are your pillars.
Okay, let's move on to step 2. Once you've got your big themes figured out, it's time to give them a job. This is where you connect those abstract ideas to a concrete goal and decide what form your content is actually going to take.
You know, generally speaking, every single piece of content should do one of these 3 things for your audience. It should either inform them with valuable knowledge, inspire them with stories and new possibilities, or entertain them to build a real connection. Every one of your pillars should be assigned one of these core jobs. This slide really brings it all together. You can see exactly how a pillar like inspiration naturally leads to the goal to inspire and could take the form of a success story. A pillar on, say, didactics, which is just a fancy word for teaching, is meant to inform and is perfect for a how-to guide. And behind-the-scenes content, that's a fantastic way to entertain your audience by showing them your process.
And that brings us right to our final step, preparation. With your pillars identified and your goals all set, the very last piece of the puzzle is to just brainstorm a big list of specific, tangible content ideas for each one. This is where that big picture strategy turns into a real, actual plan you can follow.
Theory is one thing, but let's make this super practical. We're going to walk through how our 3 example pillars, inspiration, didactics, and behind the scenes, can be fleshed out to create a really rich content calendar.
So first up, let's look at our inspiration pillar. The goal here is pretty simple. We want to motivate our audience, show them what's possible, and really encourage them to take that next step.
So, what could that actually look like in practice? Well, you could feature creator success stories, showing how other people just like them achieved their goals. You could host interviews with experts in your field to share their incredible wisdom. Or you could turn the spotlight on your own community, showcasing their amazing achievements. All of these ideas directly serve that goal of inspiring people.
Next, we've got our didactics pillar. Again, the objective here is really simple and powerful, to inform and to teach. This is where you provide tons of value just by sharing what you know. So under this pillar, you could create these super detailed step-by-step tutorials that walk your audience through a really complex process. Or maybe you could write in-depth guides that cover a topic from top to bottom.
Or you could even create short, snappy videos sharing quick, actionable tips. Each format is designed to teach, just in a different way. And for our third and final example, the behind-the-scenes pillar. The main goal here is to entertain for sure, but also to build a personal connection by showing your audience the human side of what you do. Content for this pillar could be a video that gives a little peek into your creative process, showing how an idea goes from a sparks to a finished product. You could film a day-in-the-life video to be more relatable, or even share some fun bloopers and outtakes to show that you don't take yourself too seriously. It's all about building that community feel. Okay, so you've seen the framework, you've seen the examples, now it's your turn to apply this. And this isn't just a homework exercise. This is about creating a truly sustainable blueprint for your content's future.
And this is exactly why this whole thing matters so much. When you identify your pillars and you rotate through them, you naturally create a balanced and varied content schedule. For your audience, that means they're never bored. They get this reliable mix of inspiration, education, and entertainment. And for you, well, you're never stuck because you've got this deep well of ideas to draw from for each pillar. It keeps you consistent, and honestly, it keeps you from burning out.
Ready to dive in? Here's your simple action plan. First, grab what you need: a notebook, a whiteboard, an open doc, whatever works. Second, actually do the exercise we just walked through. Identify your 3 to 5 pillars, give them goals, and brainstorm topics. And finally, review your results. Do they really feel like you? Are you genuinely excited to create this stuff?
And that's the big question I really want to leave you with. This whole system, it's the foundation you're going to build a stronger, more focused, and way more impactful content strategy on. So take a little time to really think about it. What will your pillars be?